people's opinions this window will collapse quite significantly. If you ask me right now to give it a rating, and it's silly because there's still so much to do, it's around a 6-7. I'm feeling like really happy we've got Calafiori. Looks like we'll get Marino. 34 million for Smith Rowe. Ramsdale's not going anywhere. It's looking pretty encouraging. It does look like Nelson and Eddie will probably go. But if they don't, and we don't add a Neto or a Sane or a Williams or a Gyökeres or an Osimhen or just nothing to that front line, and once again we've gone in with the same options in the area that we felt we really... It's weird because we scored our most goals ever in a Premier League season, yet it feels like it's that power in the fight in the forward line that we're lacking. And Saka's going to be expected to play the same amount of minutes, and we don't really have a like for Martinelli once again, and we don't have a proper 9. We sort of had false 9s. I think Arsenal fans will go, once again, you didn't address the biggest area of our team. I think people's opinions will swing pretty dramatically, but it's the 4th of August. We've still got a whole month. But I really think it's like in the balance there a little bit.
Can I make a point on the striker thing as well, guys? Because just on the back of James's point there, I totally agree. And I don't want to be the kind of typical fan that just thinks that there's an endless pot of money that clubs could spend and let's buy. And I also am a bit uncomfortable with the idea that just buying transfers is what wins titles. But we're here now. I actually think I've kind of changed my mind on this now. I think this won't happen, but I genuinely think Arsenal need to go out and just slap down 150 mil and go and get Isak. Now, people will say that kind of money is not in the budget. At this point in time, I'm not confident that Arsenal win the title. With the current squad that we have and City have, I don't think the dial has been moved enough for us to say, right, we're the team to beat now this season. I think at the moment we're competing. To beat City to the title, I don't think it's good enough to just keep pace. I think we've got to move the needle and do something that actually puts us in front of City. We've got to do something that actually starts the season where we are the team. At the moment, we are competing with City. Cool. Competing is not good enough now. We have to do something that actually forces the agenda. And I just can't help but feel, I think it'll take 130, 140, maybe 150 to get Isak out of Newcastle. But even if they've got to do some clever accounting, maybe they've got to write off next season's budget. And I know that Arsenal are a very frugal, well-run club. And Arteta said, I don't know who asked him in the press. One of you guys asked him about, I think it was Curtis, asked him about, is there another 100 mil player to come? And he said no, that the Rice type signing, that's not happening this season. That slightly concerned me because I think to get the striker in that's going to move the needle, I think you've got to slap down 130 mil minimum on that guy. My big thing is about teams looking at us in the tunnel and being like, whoa, Rice, Saka, Saliba, Calafiori, Odegaard, Isak. Like, we got a problem here. I'm not quite sure whether that our front line is scary at the moment. I think it's a front line that can compete with City. It's not a scary front line. And I think that we've got to go all out this in the next few weeks to just, you know what, bite the bullet, just go and get the striker that we need. At the moment, I'm not confident we're winning this title.
Scary is the word. James, you've heard me say that a few times that we need a scare factor in our... In fact, the transfer show before we went out to LA, I think I said pretty much exactly what Jordan said there. So, I'm with you. I'm with you on it, if I'm honest. I mean, we need to... I think the words I used was I expected us to set pace. I think we set pace last summer's transfer window when Declan Rice, Havertz, I was against it, but we set pace. Timber, they all came in early. It was like, wow, Arsenal broke 100 mil, Rice, English, and then all of these things led to a thrust to the season from game week 1. Everyone was eager for it, was anticipating it. The expectation was up. This one now, when James said 6 out of 10, I think that's been a bit too nice because I feel like they haven't sold well enough yet because it's only Smith Rowe at the door. I feel like they haven't bought well enough yet because it's a defender in when we all didn't expect a defender in and wanted a midfielder or an attacker. And I just feel like what Jordan's saying is that City are one move away from setting pace. And we can't allow the winners of the league the last 4 times to set pace because you look at our first 5 games of the season, James, you're right. We can't afford to drop. We know 90 points, 85 points, whatever it was the year before. We know how hard it is to win this league now. We're not just watching Liverpool, fall a few points short. So I just think in general now, Arsenal, I thought we was at a stage where we was going to build on that Declan Rice transfer last year. Now, again, people will be in the comments saying, oh, you know, not unlimited pot of money and all this. But you were the same people, the same mold of people that would say the same thing when I said, we've got to spend 100 mil one day. You would say, we can't do that. It's not the Arsenal way. It's not, but we've done it now. You people have to understand, we were sold a dream about moving into the Emirates to compete with teams that were spending well over the odds on players 20 years ago, let alone now. So these are things that, you know, I grew through. So people, Arsenal fans in particular, don't become the mouthpiece for these owners that are yet to deliver for us. They've yet to deliver for us. They've given us the love back, the hope back, the belief back, but they haven't delivered yet. You think 3 years makes up for 20? It doesn't. So for me to hear that question answered by Curtis and Arteta, I didn't like it. I didn't like it because I thought that was the beginning of a new era for Arsenal now. But instead, it just feels like we've done that, and now we're going to maybe apply the handbrake a little. Now, fine. James can also testify here for me with this. Whatever you do this summer, just win the league. If you thought 100 mil was best placed for a DM, a 6 or 8, whatever you call him, cool. If you thought the highest paid player should be a Kai Havertz, if you thought Calafiori, another defender this summer on top of the best defense is what we needed, win the league. Because I didn't expect us to be where we are now through his signings. So I'm not going to put down, he's going for a position that I didn't think we needed, because he's elevated us to this top table now. But just win the league now.
Do you know what?
Huh?
No, do you know what? What you're saying, I couldn't agree more. I'm going to be really honest here. Before this tour, I know we're talking pre-season, everything like that. I was in the boat that we didn't need a striker. I looked at the statistics, scored the most goals and all that. Like, what I took away from all 3 games is that Arsenal need to now. I felt that we was in total control of a lot of those games, and the chances we missed is a recurring theme over the last few years.
I think it's time to roll the dice. Now, your carers might have only had 1 season in at Lisbon, and Osimhen maybe isn't what everyone's saying he is, and last season at Napoli wasn't incredible, whatever. Pedro Neto might have injury problems, but they're all going to be available for around 60 to 80 million. Roll the dice, because if you get it right, we could go up levels. And if you don't, you got one wrong. I don't know. I think we should be giving it a go on one of these players. I know they're not perfect.
Arsenal do not sign a forward and we lose the league by a few points again. It is down to this transfer window. It is down because I'm going to be on it, because at the end of it, you had an opportunity to go and buy the striker. You decided to go and spend 40 million on a defender that you didn't really need. I get that you may think that you do need it. I don't know. But if you look at it, I felt last season we spent a lot of money on a goalkeeper that we didn't need, but we went and done it. And at the end of the day, it was the right decision. You have to call it as it is. So this might be the same with California. You don't know. But when I'm looking at that forward situation now, we have not addressed it. I agree with that. You know what I mean? I was very, very disappointed with Arteta when he turned around and says, we're not going to be spending that big money. Well, you look at it, every single person's season ticket has gone up a lot of money this season. Gone up very, very high. And you are not prepared to go over that little bit when we're having to scrimp and save and make out loans.